The purpose of the TIDE demonstrator is to present how a digital platform that can simulate disaster scenarios can be used to enhance multi-agency training and exercises. The training exercise brief was that due to heavy rain, LRF has been made aware of a possible breach of the Jumbles Reservoir. LRF now needs to consider the possible impact of the reservoir flooding on residential and commercial properties and on critical infrastructure, and identify the initial concerns of the responding agencies within the first 3 hours of the breach. This scenario was simulated by extending the mobilized scenario generator developed by the ThinkLab. Information on properties provided by the Ordnance Survey and the inundation maps of the reservoir breach provided by the Environment Agency were fed into the scenario generator to identify the impact of the reservoir floods on properties over time and space. Taking all the exposure data and flood maps into account, the scenario generator produces a dashboard that illustrates the impact of reservoir floods on the properties. This simulated scenario now allows the trainees to explore the impact on properties at LRF boundary level, council level and ward level, and to conduct detailed investigations into highly impacted vulnerable areas. Having understood the impact of the reservoir floods on properties, the trainees can move on to exploring the impact of the floods on critical infrastructures and vulnerable places, such as educational and medical establishments, by activating various property classification information provided by the scenario generator. Furthermore, trainees are able to switch between the flood extent map layer, visualized depth layer, velocity layer, and compound hazard layer to understand the magnitude of the flood on communities and properties. By observing the colour schemes and by clicking on various points on the flood maps, trainees can gain a better understanding of the potential high-risk areas. The scenario generator also allows the trainees to simulate the flood arrival time in time steps and discuss what actions they need to take before the arrival of the flood at a given location to safeguard communities, vulnerable people, and critical infrastructure. The real-time simulation allows the trainees to be immersed in a potentially realistic scenario and run it as many times as necessary with others to establish a deeper understanding of the potential risks and the roles of each agency during such a disaster event.